amigos, we've arrived at the end of the last week of the month of March, and the sun has progressed into Aries, and all sorts of interesting phenomena are continuing in the heavens. We've got a couple of sextiles that have been kind of fun to watch. Saturn in sextile to Pluto, and then Pluto has been also in sextile to Chiron, and so we get a lot of that deep healing energy going on here. Saturn is helping us refine our emotions, helping us look more deeply into the content of our life, and work on resolving old issues that have been around for a long time. So that's one of the major aspects that we're dealing with. Another one, of course, is the sun advancing further into the new astrological year. It has cleared, finally, the conjunction with Uranus. So that kind of takes the sting out of that Uranian energy. And as you know, Uranus has been in square to Pluto. And that's also an edgy energy that is something that causes us to struggle, causes us to look deeply into the content of the events in our lives. And Uranus, being somewhat volatile, somewhat capable of erupting without any forewarning, has definitely caused a lot of us to have to stop and address old and unresolved issues. In addition to all of that activity, we do have the passage of the moon over the weekend, moving out of Libra through Scorpio and advancing into Sagittarius, where it will be in opposition to Jupiter in Gemini. And Jupiter is in square to Chiron in Pisces. So there will be a brief T-square filling out with the moon, Chiron, and Jupiter. So Sunday may be a little bit cathartic. You may have a breakdown. You may want to just go somewhere and have an emotional moment, and then rebound and get ready for Monday as all of the planets continue to progress forward. Another event that's kind of interesting and kind of fun to contemplate is the advance of Mercury. Mercury is really starting to speed up now and is finishing its journey through Pisces, and over the next week and a half, 2 weeks, it will be advancing into Aries. So a lot of communication that has been lagging. You've been waiting for people to get back to you, things that you wanted to resolve, and you haven't been able to catch up on. We're going to see a lot of the sluggish energy that was around while Mercury was in retrograde now start to propel itself forward. So the good news is you'll probably be able to get caught up on a lot of old unfinished business, be able to clean out the email box that holds all of those old notes from people that were demanding your attention or whose attention you were demanding. So anyway, I started off here with a lot of information about trines, sextiles, and squares, and yada, yada, yada. And that's great if you have some basic knowledge of what's going on with astrology. But a lot of people have not really put a lot of effort into studying astrology, but they still want to know what's going on. So I thought I would do a little introduction, Astrology 101 here, and give you kind of an overview of the dynamic of the interaction of the planets. Now we'll begin with really just contemplating the nature of astrology. And astrology is based on the circle. And the circle is symbolic of tribal thinking, those who are nonlinear thinkers. So as a fundamental essence of astrology, we have this cosmic vision of inclusiveness. We're all part of one big circle, one huge phenomenon that is unfolding in the heavens and unfolding on earth and unfolding on our personal lives. Now, the beauty of astrology is that it affords us also the opportunity to look at things analytically. Squares, oppositions, trines, sextiles, yada, 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 once again. So astrology ultimately nicely combines both circular thinking, tribal thinking, as well as linear thinking. And of course, that's what we're really trying to achieve during the passage of our lives here, is to reconcile all of the appearances of duality and realize that everything in actual fact is part of one very enlightened and engaging and enchanting unfolding process. In relationship to all this, we'll start off with one of the most basic configurations, and that is the opposition. And a little graph here, I'll be holding this up periodically so that you get a sense of where I'm going with all this stuff. But if you are over on this side at this point here, and let's say that's your natal sun, and you have something that is in opposition to you, that opposition is going to fill out all the way over here, 180 degrees away on the opposite side of the chart. What does that mean? Well, an opposition actually is an invitation. In other words, in order for you to reconcile what appears to be opposing elements, you have to travel to the other side of the chart. You have to walk in the shoes of the other self. And that's the way we bring the positive and negative together. And of course, we're always remembering that life and everything in life is like a coin. It has a positive side and a negative side. And so with the opposition occurring in the chart, we have opposing elements that appear to be out of communication and existing in a state of distance, a great distance apart from one another. So when that occurs in the chart, we have to work. We have to take a journey. We have to travel. Get out your moccasins and get ready for a vision quest that will take you to the other side of the equation. So let's say your sun is in Aries and you have your moon on the opposite side in Libra. Well, in order for you to really comprehend the lessons that the moon is trying to relate to you, especially in this particular lifetime, you have to be willing to accommodate your alter ego. You're going to have to go over and become a Libra when you're trying to explore the activity of the moon in your chart. So what many astrologers and many people would perceive as being a bad thing is merely something that causes us to once again take the journey to understanding, to comprehension, and to looking at both sides of the coin. So when oppositions occur, and the most common is the sun-moon opposition, we have the sun on one side of the chart that has a huge amount of energy that it's radiating, and we have the moon on the opposite side of the chart, and it is reflecting at that same level of exuberance, I guess you could say. As we continue with a couple of the other angles here, I'll bring up my nifty chart once again, and if you look at the next configuration here, you are going to observe up here 120 degrees. This is what we call a trine. And a trine is a relatively easy energy flow, but it's also almost as far apart from where you are over here as the element that was in opposition was. In other words, there's still a great deal of distance between that planet that is in trine to the position over here that we're looking at, but it is a benign or benevolent energy. So generally, when things are in trine in the chart, it essentially is opening up an avenue of easy passage. And one of the best ways to look at trines and squares is imagine a staircase. Now, if you're having to walk on a 120-degree angle, you can probably put plywood down on the stairs and walk up those stairs on that flat surface of plywood relatively easy. It's not going to be a struggle. So trines do bring a positive energy flow into our lives. And when two planets that are harmonious are in trine to each other, it generally gives us that warm, fuzzy, feel-good kind of energy. But it's not really a terribly important passage as far as becoming visceral, becoming something that is immediately tangible. So trines are smooth sailing, good currents, flowing with the energies of whatever planets are involved in the configuration. Our next configuration, you'll see here in red, and you see the 90 degrees. And once again, we'll go back to that idea of a stairwell. Now, if you take a 90-degree angle and put plywood on those stairs, you're going to have a hard journey climbing up to the top. I mean, that was the whole point in building stairs, was to reduce that angle in life. And a 90-degree angle, or a square, is a source of tension. So it's a cause of struggle. It will initiate a journey that will ultimately be resolved as we get closer and closer and arrive at a point half of the distance of the 90 degrees. In other words, when we get to the sesquare or the semi-square here at 45 degrees, it's an even steeper journey, but that's that final push that we all have to make in overcoming obstacles or barriers or limitations. So we've got squares that challenge us and semi-squares that can really force us to come to our highest level of expression. And that's always major life-changing events that arrive. And we all are subject to having a lot of events occur during the course of a month or the course of a year that do reset the directions that we're traveling in life. And the final element here, you can see it's 60-degree element. That is the sextile. And sextiles are probably my favorite configuration, planetary configuration, because sextiles are very close to us. You can imagine it in this format. If something is in opposition to you, you have to take a hell of a journey to get to the other side of the picture and comprehend the bigger picture of what's going on. Well, the sextile is very, very close in. It's very immediate. It's a short journey, but it opens up new resources, new activities, and generally lands us in a better set of circumstances than we had in the past. So that's a little brief overview of how sextiles, semi-squares, squares, and trines work in our chart, as well as oppositions. And I will go into some other dialogue in future videos about how all of these elements are interacting and how you can get a better sense of what all the activities in your particular personal chart is all about. Now, for next week, as we're moving through the weekend, we have, as I mentioned, this activity of Mercury advancing. And once we see Mercury finally hit that 20th degree of Pisces, which will be coming up in a few days here, then we're going to begin to see the emergence of some new opportunities, some dialogue coming in about a new vision. That may be a time when, if you're looking for career change, doors suddenly open. If you've gone through a career change and you're not really happy with where you landed, this would be the opportunity to make another step and then move forward. So pay attention to what Mercury is doing while it's finishing up its journey in Pisces, because it's getting ready to enter into Aries, like I said, in a few weeks, and it will be in conjunction with all of that activity that's happening around Uranus, and that's when we're going to see a lot of changes occur. Now, this coming week, in addition to everything else that's going on, we have kind of a fun adventure going on in Aries, in that first, Mars crossed over Uranus, and now the Sun and Venus have passed Uranus, and now Venus is going to really, really accelerate and catch up with Mars over this next week, week and a half, and that's when we're going to see more of a sense of interunification, a new sense of determination, a new sense of direction, and we'll be reaping the rewards of all of this activity that's been going on with Chiron and Pluto and Jupiter and Saturn, in this process of pulling these deep, deep past life experiences, perhaps this life experiences, genetic memory that's embedded in our DNA, and all of these other deep, deep processes up to the surface to embrace them and bring light to them and to heal and regenerate. And finally, I will mention that in addition to all this other activity that's going on, we will be seeing the moon advancing this coming week toward Pluto. And as it moves out of Sagittarius and into Pluto on Monday and Tuesday, that will be the catalyst for a lot of different interpersonal, transformative possibilities. So if you're part of a tribe, part of a family, part of a group, part of a community somewhere here on planet Earth, we notice that some of the ancient patterns and some of the ancient secrets and wounds are once again bubbling to the surface. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of this coming week, April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, has some very powerful elements afoot. A lot of healing, a lot of shifting, a lot of forward progress for those who are working with the program. Now, I will mention, for any of you who are enjoying this new series that I appear to be developing here, I would appreciate it if you share it, pass it around, send the link to all the people you know. And the more we grow, the more we develop our own sense of community, the more I will be able to share not only different little tidbits here and there about astrology, but also tarot card reading and the I Ching and the rune stones and a multitude of other modalities that can accelerate our self-awareness and our self-understanding. So get out there, enjoy this coming week, embrace this very powerful, positive Aries energy, share the love, pass the love around, and I will be speaking with you soon.
And all my instincts, they return, and the grand facade so soon will burn, without a noise, without my pride, I reach out from the inside.